We are live in 3, 2, 1.
And now it's time for Nerd Talk with Slider, Brandon, and Ryan.
Hey guys, what's up? It's time for another episode of Nerd Talk. And this week we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, and I'm joined by Brandon.
Hey guys.
And of course by Todd Pyro.
Hey, what's up?
How you guys doing today?
All right. Ryan looks a little sick though.
Oh yeah, I'm under the weather. I'm really sick. Took the whole day off work.
Yeah,
Not just for Destiny2.
That's what you get for having children's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same sickness over the weekend.
Because you were hanging around children's.
Yeah. So I know how it feels. He's how I was on Sunday.
If I start to doze off, just yell at me. It's probably because of the medicine.
just nudge you. All right. So this week we're starting off with our weekly movie, and this week it was The Foreigner. I'm going to go ahead and start with that because I've been the longest since I've seen it. I really like this movie. I typically like Jackie Chan movies, but Jackie Chan kind of has a niche in comedy where he is doing a lot of, not only action, but he's being funny. And in this movie, he actually got to exercise his acting chops. And what it is, it's a revenge tale about a man seeking justice for the loss of his daughter. And it is just, he does a really good job convincing you that he is a grieving father and that he is looking for justice. And he goes after someone, and he goes after them with a single purpose. He wants to know who did this, who killed his daughter. And he takes it very personally, as I'm sure just about anyone would. And the action throughout is pretty good. It's a human story. It's an emotional story. The action's really good. There's almost nothing I can complain about, maybe except for some of the pacing might have been a little bit slow, but I was invested in the story from start to finish. What do you think, Brandon?
I really liked it too, and so I was excited to see the movie because it was going to be not typical for Jackie Chan. It was going to be, a more serious movie. And even though that's what I got, the movie still surprised me because I didn't think he was going to start, he just didn't give a shit. I'm going to blow up your bathroom. You don't want to give me names? All right, bathroom gone.
Yeah.
He was hard fucking core, and that surprised the shit out of me.
Yeah,
I was happy with it.
That's the kind of person you don't want chasing you.
Yeah, no, and he proved it over and over in so many ways. Oh, it was so good. It was like crossing some of Jackie Chan with Jason Bourne.
That is a great example.
Although in an older person, because he is 60, and they make mention of that, and he has a hard time. They show bits of that, of him being an older person.
I'm going to interrupt here for a second because I was talking to somebody about this, and one of the problems that they had with the movie, they're like, oh, well, what old person, what person his age is going to be able to do that? Well, guess what? Jackie Chan is that age.
Yeah, I mean, there are people doing it. Look at Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is older. Not that necessarily Chuck Norris can do all the jumps and stuff anymore. We don't know. Maybe he can. But not too long ago, he did Expendables. He's still in excellent shape, and he's what? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Actually, I think he's 80, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in his 80s.
Yeah, 80 years old, and he was still ripped. So there are people that can do that.
Yeah, so obviously you enjoyed it too. Ryan, what do you think?
Oh, I enjoyed it. Like you said, Jackie Chan really showed off his acting chops. And I saw the trailer before I saw the movie, so I knew it was supposed to be about his daughter, but it was so well acted that I almost cried.
Oh, nice.
Oh, the one scene, yeah, I actually did choke up too when he was having the flashback with his other daughters and stuff, and that was pretty intense.
Well, spoiler talk. So his daughter dying is so impactful because his two other daughters died and his wife died when he was escaping. What war was he trying to escape? I forget.
He was escaping China.
Yeah, he was escaping China, and there was a war going on. I don't think he was.
Yeah, and pirates attacked the boat that they were trying to escape from, and yeah, those flashbacks were really kind of showed like his PTSD from it. And whenever he lost his daughter and he was sitting at home alone and he's burning the pictures of them, it just to me that was him saying, you know what, everything I love is gone, so fuck it, I'm gonna get these guys. And he fucking did.
That was, when he did that, my immediate thought was, oh, he's not going to make it out of this. Like, he's not. His life is over because he gave away the shop. He burned the pictures. It's like he's really leaving everything behind to accomplish this. So I did not think he was going to make it to the end of the movie.
Oh, neither did I. I thought he was in well, he did it so haphazardly. It seemed he did it so haphazardly, but whenever he like pushed it and made it become like a war, he did it in a bushcraft way. You know what I mean? What was that?
No. Say that. Explain that. Bushcraft.
All right, bushcraft. So he put traps under the ground, so whenever the guys stepped on it, those are kind of like tactics of war that were used during Vietnam. I forget the terminology for hiding. Like they used to do it with bamboo shoots, sharpen bamboo shoots, stick them into the ground in a hole. So when people fall through the hole, they get impaled on it.
So you're talking about like guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, that's how he took to fighting them. I mean, he was super ninja about getting in that guy's house. And that guy,
no joke.
That guy thought he killed his dog. Like, no, I didn't kill your dog. What are you?
And I think we're so impressed and happy with what Jackie Chan did. We're really not talking about Pierce Brosnan, who also did an excellent job. But I sort of expected him to, so it's not that really wasn't a surprise.
He was confusing to me throughout a good bit of the movie because at first I was like, okay, maybe he is a changed person. And he's not doing some shady shit. And then, of course, we find out different. But I thought that was pretty well done. And he did seem like he was, I guess, becoming weaker, or not really weaker. That's not the right word.
More mellow.
More mellow, like his associate was saying, until he shot him multiple times.
Here's the thing about Pierce Brosnan's character. He was a bad guy. But he was a bad guy who was trying to do good things, in my opinion. He was trying to keep the peace. He was trying to not let things fall back to the way they were. And we saw some of the bad shit that he did. We heard about some of the bad shit that he did. And as the movie progressed and the threat became more and more real for him, he kind of reverted to being that bad person. But we saw he was not afraid to take out his associates. He was not afraid to, turn his well, not friends, per se, but like his people in, all in his own interest. So we are meant to not like his character, but I do think his character was trying to do in what they consider in their mind the right thing.
Right.
Well, he said he when it's revealed that he's the one behind the attack. I mean,
kind of.
He is and he isn't.
Yeah, it's like he wasn't wanting them to do it that way.
He gave them the gun, but they pulled the gun in the direction that they wanted. They put the gun in the direction they wanted to.
Right. Basically, he was like he set them up to be able to do what he wanted to do, and they went against his wishes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They hit civilians, and he didn't want that.
He still did want to bomb something.
Yeah, and that's one thing. That's one thing There's a few things. There's two things that I didn't like you said, the pacing. It's not so much the pacing that I had a problem with. Is I felt like there was a lot of fluff that they added to pad the movie's runtime. And then the second thing is the cops were okay with the second bombing.
What do you mean?
To give away the section of the terrorist group within his organization. He's like, it's okay. They're gonna do another bombing, but when they call it in, they're gonna give out a code word, and that code word's gonna give them away. And the cops were just like, sounds good to me.
Well, I see where you're coming from, but what else were they going to do? Like, what were their
organization? That would be the fucking easiest thing to do.
He didn't know who they were. Well, at least according to the cops, he didn't know who they were.
He knows the people who are in his organization, at least the cells.
I don't think that would have worked, personally. That's just my opinion. But
they could have worked so hard on him, and they didn't.
And they're it suffers from movie realism. Is what it boils down to. Is they're going to do what makes the story work.
Yeah.
But you're right. Other than that, I don't really think there's anything to complain about in this movie. Other than when I said the pacing, it was like it was really good, and then it started to drag, and then it got really good, and then it started to drag, and then it got really good, and then it started to drag. But even when it was dragging, it was moving the story forward. So it's hard to complain about story development. It's just that the story development is just moving at a different pace than the actual action.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's a really good movie. I'm definitely going to add it to my collection. If you haven't seen it, I suggest it highly.
For sure, it was pretty good.
We were talking about Jackie Chan's acting chops, and it's not that he hasn't done that before. Because I mean, even in a movie that I fucking hated,
Karate Kid,
The Karate Kid, he did a great job acting.
I still haven't seen that movie.
Are you serious? He did such a good job in that role too.
Yeah, but Jaden Smith, man.
Yeah, the movie was stupid as shit.
And that's what I heard.
I didn't mind it.
That's what I heard. So I was like, I'm not gonna watch it. But I'm glad to hear that Jackie Chan did a good job in that movie.
Yeah, so I think
he did so good.
That was probably one of the first ones where he really showed that he was more than just a comedian.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think because he's got like a whole team for their choreography for the fight scenes, and the fight scenes were fantastic. I mean, they were most definitely in Jackie Chan's style of using things around you, and
kind of, but at the same time, it was also toned down.
For comedic effect, yeah, they toned down the comedic effect of him like using stupid shit.
Yeah, I want to say it was not overly ridiculous. It was just good enough to be like, that guy's a badass.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he got his ass kicked a few times, but he gave it back. He gave it back,
and he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot. He got his ass kicked. He got cut. Oh man, when he cauterizes that wound.
Oh yeah, he used his knife or whatever just right here.
Yeah, that was.
Would it have been a higher rating if we'd have seen him take the bullet out? Because in my head I was just like, wait, did he take the bullet out already or no?
It could have passed through.
Was that actually a bullet wound?
Yeah, it's from when he got shot.
Okay. I thought that was a cut. I didn't remember it being a bullet wound.
Either way, I mean, he still cauterized himself.
Yeah. And like you said, it's like you're looking at this guy and you're like, there is no doubt this guy is a badass. So, but like I said, if you're looking for a movie and you like action and you like good storytelling, and you like good acting, this movie's got it all.
Yeah. And if you hate Jackie Chan movies, give this one a shot. It might surprise you because it is not his typical thing.
Absolutely. This is not I wouldn't call this a Jackie Chan movie. This is it's just an action movie. It's a story. Well, no, it's a Jackie Chan movie because Jackie Chan's the main star, but it's not the typical fluff piece for Jackie Chan.
Yeah, it's not Rumble in the Bronx. It's not
Was that
Rush
Around the
Hour.
World in 100 Days? Wasn't he in that movie?
Yeah,
So.
it's not that. It's not the one with Owen Wilson. It's
Shanghai
nothing
Noon.
like it's not that kind of stuff.
It's completely different than I think anything he's done.
Or at least that we've seen over here in the West, right?
Right.
I've seen a lot of his stuff from over there too.
Yeah, and even his Asian stuff is action heavy. But this is I think a really, really, I'm not going to say perfect, but a really good blending of the two things.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we all liked it. I was hoping you would all like it.
Were you expecting me to not like it?
Yes, I was kind of like, I thought you were going to be like, oh, yeah, fuck this guy.
No, I agree with y'all. I thought it was a great movie. I came out. I love a good action movie when I get involved in it and I leave the theater. And I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but you get out of the theater and you're like, your adrenaline's still there, so you're like,
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. And you're right, it did have that effect on it. All right, so glad we all liked it, and we're going to go ahead and move on here to our next. Well, actually, before we go on, just if you guys are watching this, what do you think of the movie? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Did you have any problems with it that we didn't cover? Let us know in the comments below. So we're going to go ahead and move on to TV, and this week we're talking first about Star Trek Discovery. And I actually posted something on Facebook earlier this week because I watched the episode and I was not happy at the end of it. It's not that it was a poorly done episode. I think it was just as good as any of the other episodes, but they're showing their weakness in writing and how they're really leaning on the former franchise, because as we know, the main character in this is Michael, and who is female, which they haven't explained how that worked, but I thought that it's kind of unusual. But Michael studies under Sarek, who is Spock's father, thus tying the whole thing together, right? Well, now we're coming to find out that she's not just his pupil. They actually have a father-daughter relationship. She refers to him as father. And I think that is a misstep, because first of all, we got Spock. We know Spock. He's got a whole history going forward.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Never heard of this character before. How is he going to have this quote unquote older sister that we've never heard of? It doesn't make any sense. That was my biggest problem, and I think it just makes the whole universe smaller when it doesn't need to be a smaller universe. Star Trek is so rich, it's so big, it's so many different directions they can go. Why?
The only way I'm okay with this is if they, and it's probably not going to be right now because currently they're of the opinion that this is the prime universe, or I'm sorry, the prime timeline.
There's only one Star Trek timeline.
Anyway, is if they decide at some point, maybe at the end of the season or maybe next season, but it has to be soon in the first couple seasons, that this is not the prime timeline, that it is some alternate timeline, because then you can explain why the Klingons look different. You can explain why Michael is a character in Sarek's life, and being in that kind of relationship.
So, all right. So I got a question.
Go ahead.
Is there like a multiverse thing going on in Star Trek?
There better fucking not be.
It's not really a multiverse. So Jose is referring to the fact that the Star Trek movies, the recent ones with the new actors.
Yeah, I've seen.
Because of the whole timeline thing there where, Spock went back in time and now Kirk is different and now everyone else is different and stuff is all changed up. Triples exist when they shouldn't yet. Khan wasn't the same, etc. It's explained because of that one change. And so it's basically an entirely different timeline.
Yeah, it's a different branch.
Yeah, than what Spock and the original Kirk and Picard are part of.
Here is my problem with that explanation. Things that happened before the timeline diverge changed. So if this was a single timeline that's branched off now and doing its own thing, why
Like
are
what?
things before the branch?
What before?
When the Tribbles showed up. The Tribbles did not show up until after the 5-year mission. Now they're going on the 5-year mission.
Well, however, the timeline was changed when Spock went back, so it was changed 30 something years ago. But when Kirk was born, so that's when the split occurs. Is when that moment happened. So Tribbles could show up earlier or later.
Okay, I'll give you that one because I had not thought about it that way. But there's they talk about the Gorn, which they didn't discover until after during the 5-year mission. They talk about
now they have technology that they didn't have access to before. So that's why everything has shifted. That's why the 5-year mission, it didn't take place at the exact same time. It's why everything essentially has happened.
But according to the start, and we're totally getting off fucking course here, but according to the movie, this is the first mission of its kind. This is their 5-year mission. This is going forward. So
yes.
If they didn't have that mission, any kind of mission like that before, how did all this other shit get discovered?
I think this is a problem that you're going to have inherently.
By other ships. They weren't discovered by the Enterprise. The Tribbles weren't discovered by Kirk and them.
No other ships have undertaken a mission like this yet. That's my problem.
But I think all right. So from an outside viewer's perspective, I think this is a problem you guys are the Star Trek community is going to have because the way the Star Trek property works as a television show, and stretching over so much time, is they have to. It's much harder for them to keep continuity.
Oh, no, continuity went to shit when Gene Roddenberry died. I mean,
when was that though? Time wise, like how long?
He died during the Next Generation.
Yeah.
And while they did a much better job than what we're seeing now, the continuity is getting worse and worse and worse.
Is it because they're not looking at the older material and saying keeping tabs on timelines?
I mean, I don't know if you like the 3 new ones, Ryan, or not, but I think I'm okay with their divergence or their missteps to do what they're doing essentially, because while they could, I would.
And actually, I don't think the picture is. Sorry about this, folks. Just a moment. Bear with us. There we go. All right, we're back. So basically, we went way off topic. If you've known me and Brandon or seen any of our other shows where we talk about Star Trek, you know we don't agree on the new Star Trek movies. Even though I did say, based on The Force Awakens, I forgave J.J. Abrams for rebooting or whatever it is he did to the Star Trek universe. And I've always said the movies are fine as standalone action movies. I just don't think they're Star Trek. Now, the third movie, where they kind of went off and they did their own thing, was a little more Star Trekian, if you will. And I actually enjoyed that movie. I wasn't as angry as, in the second movie, I flat out just told the screen to fuck off.
No, literally. So Ryan, get this. We're watching, right? And the whole thing in the theater, and the whole thing with the reverse, of Spock and Kirk from the original Khan movie. Kirk's in the chamber, and Spock is outside watching him die. And then as soon as he yells, Jose just yells, and the theater's full, mind you, completely full because it's opening night. Yells at the screen, "Fuck you!"
Yes, just like that. I was like, "Fuck you!" I was like, no. It's like there was no point in reversing that. I understand they were taking their artistic license, but that was just gratuitous in my opinion, and I was not happy.
I thought it was good, and I've used that a couple times now. Like I think it was a few months ago, Jose was watching the original Star Trek Two: Wrath of Khan, and in my as a comment, I just put the new Spock yelling Khan, and he's like, and he just went off again. He's like, "Fuck you! I should delete this."
I that particular moment, and I know that is more of a fanboy thing than a film series thing. But I hate it. I hate that moment. I fucking hate that moment.
I feel your pain in a way, just not regards to Star Trek. It's about the amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, the movies that
I thought you were gonna say Aragon.
Yeah, but Spider-Man I think bothers me more.
Really?
Because that's my favorite character.
I can see that. All right. Well, and we covered, I think, what we were going to cover about Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
Is that the last discussion we're gonna have about Star Trek Discovery?
No,
no.
I'm gonna keep watching. I'm trying to give it leeway. I used to, for example, I never really gave Voyager and Deep Space Nine a chance because I had only seen a handful of episodes, and I thought they were pieces of crap, essentially. And I've watched them.
Space Nine. Deep Space Nine
I've watched
nice.
them, and Deep Space Nine I actually like a lot now. The first couple seasons were slow. Excuse me, for me, they were a bit slow, but after the first, I want to say like half of the first season, I started growing attached to at least a few characters. Not everyone per se, but I had my picks, and from there, I actually got more into the show. So I'm gonna give it, some more time, hoping that I get attached to someone. So far, that really hasn't happened. Actually, I don't really like Michael that much.
Yeah, I suffer from that as well. But one of the things I'm kind of hoping for, and I'm not sure we made it this far in the conversation before we had the issue, is I don't want a divergent timeline. I don't want an alternate universe. I don't want a mirror universe. I just want Star Trek.
Well, then they better explain some of these things.
Exactly.
I mean, an Enterprise at least explained why Klingons looked different back in the original show compared to how they looked in TNG.
Yeah, and they look radically different now.
I want an explanation.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's in order.
If I get an explanation and it even sounds kind of legitimate, okay, fine. I'm fine with it then.
Now, even if you get an explanation, I know you don't like the way they look. Is that going to make you like the way they look? I mean,
not really like the way they look because I still think they look dumb, but I'm okay with it.
But you'll accept it, okay? All right. Well, yeah. So we'll keep watching that show, and we'll keep letting you know what we think. Let us know what you think. Do you hate it? Do you love it? Who do you agree with more, me or Brandon? I think we should do a whole like a team Jose or team Brandon, like the whole Star Trek conversation.
Oh God, I always try to get people on my side.
But now we're going to a new show, and let me tell you, I was super, super happy with the way I felt about this show, and it is The Gifted. That show caught me completely off guard. I'm a big X-Men fan. I'm a fan of the movies, even though some of them haven't been that good. But I think they're just getting better and better. And when they announced this show, I was like, oh, come on, let's not try to do this. I don't want like X-Men, the high school years or whatever. This is so not that.
It reminded me of Heroes, the trailer, when I saw it.
Yeah,
kind of.
See, Heroes, and I've actually made this argument before, Heroes had the potential to be the X-Men origin story, right? That's really what they should have taken their cue from. The Gifted is not quite an origin story because in this show, mutants are a well-known anomaly or occurrence, whatever you want to call it, and they've been around for years. And now, at this point in history, the X-Men are gone.
Yeah, this seems to confirm the Old Man Logan timeline in order of things, because in Old Man Logan, all the mutants are gone, the X-Men are gone. They say those things. So this makes sense as a segue into that future.
Now, I need to prepare you for this, Brandon, because you might not be happy about this. But both Logan and, from what I've read, The Gifted exist in their own timelines.
Now, see, that's silly when they could be tied together so well.
But Fox has been just they don't give a shit about continuity whatsoever.
And see, that's actually what I was really worried about with this show. I was so worried. I mean, again, they're only on episode 3. Things could change, but I was so worried that it was just going to be a steaming pile of shit.
And it's not. It's really good.
And yeah, I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay, these characters are actually cool.
And we're getting new. Not only are we getting new characters, we're getting some of the background characters that never had focus before, like Blake. I love Blake.
Well, and the fact that none of them are really overpowered.
Right.
None of them, at least so far, are like Omega level. So you're not having, you're not really dumbing anyone down. So all these people have their weaknesses.
Yeah, they're not the class 5 mutants. Although the one in episode you saw episode up to 3, you said, right?
Yeah, I saw all 3.
Okay, that one mutant in episode 3 that has the power to suppress other mutants' powers. I bet you he's a pretty high level mutant.
Yeah,
because I believe that's part of what causes them to like Professor Xavier and Magneto is that their powers can be exerted over other mutants. It's just not kinetic, or it's not something that they can do. They can actually cause other mutants to react or do things in certain ways. And I think that mutant that they introduced, what they call him, Pulse.
Wait, now I'm questioning it. Did I see episode 3?
I don't know.
Now I don't know. Now I'm thinking I only saw the first 2.
Okay, there was a scene where they rescue some people off of a bus.
So hold on, I saw them, the girl that was opening the portals.
Right, that's Blink.
And she had all she was having all the issues opening the portals all over the house and everything, or
That's episode 2.
hideaway. Okay, so yeah, I did not see episode 3 then.
Oh yeah, you're one episode down, and it's a good episode. And I spoiled some stuff for you just now.
That's all right. I mean, that just means I have to go watch it now.
Right, but it's really well done. It's well written. I know, Ryan, you haven't seen it, but I would highly recommend you catch up on it. I think
What's
it's really
the tone
fun.
of it?
It's much darker than a lot of the stuff we've seen.
It is. That's why I was feeding into the Logan timeline, because it's dark. These people are being fucking hunted.
Yeah.
I mean, Sentinels go after them. Mind you, they're small Sentinels, but there's the Sentinel Force essentially.
Oh, so Sentinels are in it. Awesome.
Oh, it's some pretty dark shit.
Yeah, and it's
as long as it's not dark for just to be this, just for the sake of it's dark. Like
no,
like
not at
DC
all.
was trying to do with their fucking universe.
Yeah, no. It's not dark for the sake of dark. I mean, it's got good stuff to back it up. Again, so far.
What they've done with this so far is it's not quite the dystopian universe of Old Man Logan, but it is how the universe becomes dystopian. Yes. So it has a lot of potential to go in a lot of different directions if they decide to integrate it into the timeline with Logan. That would be fantastic and fantastic and sad because you know what's coming. But if they go off in their own direction, they can do some pretty interesting things too. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this.
Yeah, same here. I mean, as long as they keep this kind of tone and story going, and they don't destroy continuity in their own show, then yeah, I think it could go at least 5-6 seasons. Easily.
So I'm glad we're in agreement on that one, Brandon, because I can't take another Star Trek. But the thing that I know Ryan has been looking forward to, and I know, unfortunately, Brandon, you are still looking forward to. And surprisingly, I wasn't totally looking forward to it because I'm not big into games that way, but I actually decided to go ahead and get it too, and that was
Which surprised me.
Destiny 2. I wasn't going to tell you guys until the podcast, but then I realized you were going to find out once we started playing anyway. So,
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have known unless it wasn't for Brandon, because we weren't friends on
Blizzard.
Blizzard.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not just Blizzard. He even put the thing on Facebook when he was playing poor Destiny 2 play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did a live stream of it.
Yeah. So I would have had to hide all that, and I was just like, screw it. So we're going to show you a little bit of what we've done so far in the game here. So this is my character. I'm a Titan. I'm power 54, level 5 so far. And I've done that in about 5 hours of gameplay. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the fact that I'm really enjoying the way this world works. And this is a look here at how my character is geared. And I like this interface. It's really easy to use. Once you get new gear, you just kind of hover over these spots and sorry, Brandon. Yeah, we hover over the equipment and you select whatever you have in your inventory that's the best for the build that you're trying to do. And I've also got some actual in-game video here. And so this is like the farm, and this is one of the things where I thought it was interesting because the gameplay in this feels like a cross between World of Warcraft and Halo, right? So, and what I mean by that is here, you've got somebody running around town talking to different merchants and stuff like that. This is where you get your quests, not all of your quests, but basically where you start. And this has a very World of Warcraft feel to it. And this scene right here, I basically did this so you could see how beautiful this world is and how well filled out it is. Like, look at that landscape. That's really nice. You know, the water looks good. The land looks good. Look at the shadowing. I really liked the way they did this. And the way you transport around to do the different things is you have a ship that you take into orbit, and that brings up a director, and you'll see that there, right? And the director shows you how you can travel from place to place to place. And right now, since I'm such a low level, I'm only on Earth. When you go to the planet, it gives you a map and shows you what you're looking to do, right? And right there, it shows there is a public event that was going on, and I'll let Ryan talk to that a little bit more later. But so you go into the planet that you're in, and then we've got this cutscene. And I'll admit, I think these cutscenes with the ship are a little too long. But once you get down to the planet and you start running around and doing things, that's where I feel like it's more like Halo in terms of gameplay. This is a top-notch, first-class, first-person shooter that exists inside an MMO. And see, here you are. So, like, now I'm running around this map, and you've got the all the stuff going on around you. You see, there's some other characters there running around, and we'll see. I come up on one of the bad guys here. Actually, no, not yet. I find a loot crate. There you go. And the loot crate is fairly simple. You walk up to it, select the button, and I'm playing with the controller, by the way. I know a lot of people are playing with the keyboard, but I'm a controller guy. But
I couldn't do a controller. Well, I mean, I did do a controller in Destiny 1 on PS4 because there was no option. Now that it's on PC, I'm for sure going to be using a mouse and keyboard. I did during beta. Beta was fun. I got to do the first two, I guess, I don't know if it's one or two missions, however you want to count it. The one on the tower and then on the ship itself before you get thrown off and fall into wherever. So,
all right. Well, here you see. Hold on. See, I'm taking out a bad guy there, so you see what the actual gameplay looks like. And and then this is me returning to orbit so I can go back. But it was just a little sample of how I want, so you can see how this actually looks in game. It's really good looking. Sorry to interrupt you there, Brandon. Go ahead.
And I was saying, that being said, I haven't been able to play Destiny 2 yet because, well, if you haven't read it, maybe you have an older PC, maybe maybe you don't, but I do. At least my processor. My processor is 7 years old now, and so if you have my particular line of processors, the Phenom line, they don't support a particular set of instructions for it that came out afterward, and because of that, I can't play.
It's time to put your processor down, Brandon.
Yeah, it crashes as soon as I select my character and start loading. It then crashes. I was able to make my two characters. I wasn't sure which one I was going to pick yet.
Actually, I have your first character up, the Awoken.
Yeah, there's my Awoken.
And then your other character here.
My Exo.
There's your Exo, right? Actually, you know what? I did that backwards. First one's the Exo.
Oh, sorry. Well,
yeah.
I wasn't looking. So the Exo is actually probably what I'm going to go with, but I will be Hunter for sure.
Oh, okay.
I ordered myself a new processor. I know a lot of people are actually really upset that that Bungie is doing this essentially, and Bungie has said that they're looking into the issue, but because of that required set of instructions for a processor called SSS E3, 3S's, if it doesn't support that, they're actually calling it a hard requirement now. They're going to look into a fix to see if they can get people with those processors working, but they're not making promises because it's not quote unquote officially supported.
So Brandon,
I think that's kind of bullshit. I just want to chime in for a second, Jose, because the same thing happened whenever we were playing No Man's Sky.
That's true. That's true. But
the developer said, "All right, we're gonna fix this," and
they did. They
Bungie and Blizzard are just gonna say, we can put in resources to do it," and they have like 1,000 times more resources than Hello Games.
Yes, I mean that's absolutely true, and they could, but at the same time, it is a 7-year-old processor.
It worked. Your computer worked during the beta.
I know, but they've done other tweaks. I for one don't have. I mean, I'm annoyed by it, sure, but I'm taking it for granted. It is a 7-year-old processor. I should have gotten a newer processor by now.
Well, that was going to be what my question was. Is it just the Phenom 2 or all the Phenom processors?
And anything before essentially the 8 cores came out.
The FX line.
No, not the FX line. The FX line was later. At first, it was just the Opteron 8000 series, I believe. And that line and anything forward was fine. So essentially, if you have a processor that was made in 2011 or better, you're fine.
Interesting. Yeah, that does suck. And I know there's actually a couple of issues that happened that found on the release. So that was one of them. Another one is, and one of my friends is going through this. If you stop downloading the game between 40 and 70%, when you go to pick up the download, it just spins its wheels forever and never completes.
That's interesting.
And there's a fix out for it, but as far as I've heard, they have not completed. The fix did not work yesterday. As a matter of fact, I could probably look right now and see if he's online. Actually, no, I can't, so I'm not going to worry about that. But so there's that issue. There's people complaining of being perma-banned for using third-party applications, and Bungie is refuting that, saying that that's not why it's happening.
Yeah, I did see that. That was pretty interesting. So they're like, no, we actually manually ban people, and it's not for using normal third-party overlays. We're not banning you for overlays. They called these, and they even gave a number. They said only like 400 accounts were banned. So they said these 400 people were essentially, they were cheating. We caught you. Sorry, you're trying to lie.
Right. And I mean, I'll be interested in seeing when they release more information on that, on what exactly they did and how they were doing it and stuff like that. But Bungie is really, really keeping a tight rein on, making sure that people are playing this game fairly, and I think that's a great thing.
Actually, I do think that's a good thing as well, because we actually had that discussion during my D&D group a few times where we were concerned that it being on PC, people are going to start using aimbot and wall hacks, and that's probably what they're looking out for, and that's probably how these people got caught. They're like, oh, I have this program. It's not supposed to be detected by anything, and they probably found it.
Right. Um, so this is that's your character, Brandon, and now we're going to go ahead and go to Ryan, who at this point has the most experience of all of us in this game. So Ryan, I've got your first picture up. Take it away.
Which one is it? Is it just me dancing?
I think that is the one of you dancing. Yes.
All right. Sorry, I didn't take like more in-depth photos, like to show off how
Yeah, you were
beautiful
too
the game
busy
is.
playing, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, actually, I've almost beaten the game. I'm on the last mission, or second to last mission. I'm I think I'm level 18 now. I just hit level 18. My power level's somewhere around 160, 170 right now. I think it was interesting hearing your feedback, Jose, coming from someone who didn't play Destiny 1. Me and Brandon are gonna get into it. We're gonna know basic things that carried over, and we're gonna be left kind of having to do our own research about what's different. And there are a few things that are different. Xur doesn't take strange coins anymore. And for those that don't know who Xur is a merchant that shows up Friday through Monday every week, just those days, and he takes a special currency which used to be strange coins and is now legendary shards. And what he sells, Jose and everyone else, is he sells exotic weapons and exotic armor, and his inventory rotates throughout the whole pool of exotics.
So what you said, it takes legendary shards?
Yeah, legendary shards.
So that won't be too bad then. So legendary shards come from the purple weapons, which once you hit 20 and max, not really max light level, but like 200, maybe a little more, like 210, you're gonna see purples all the time.
Yeah, everyone was saying that it's really it made it much easier, and you can get them consistently. So it made it a little bit easier, in my opinion, and I think a lot of other people share that opinion. Other key differences. Oh, the what is it? What were on the map, Jose? What's the term I'm looking for?
Farm?
Yeah. Well, not on the farm, but on maps. Whenever it shows you
the director.
Yeah, in the director it shows you live events, live crap.
Oh yeah, the public events.
Yeah, public events. So before public events, you kind of had to run around the map because they spawned randomly across the map. And now you can just look at the map and it shows you where they're going to be, how much time it's going to be before they start. Yeah. It's really nice.
You know what they did is they took the application that someone made for Android, and they put it into the game.
Yeah, I mean it's simple.
That's like in Destiny 1, you didn't know where these public events were or how long was remaining. So someone made an app on Android and they just called it like Destiny 2 public event timer, and they listed all of them on how long each one was left and when the last time someone was there. And so now Ryan's saying that they're like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's just put that in the game, like they should have done.
Well, they did that quality of life upgrade. And Jose, like you were raving about the farm, and I love the farm. The farm is great. The farm shows off how they're developing developing the world and the areas. Because previous to that we had the tower, right, Brandon? God damn it, that fucking tower! You go to that tower 1,000 times because the only NPCs in the game were at that tower, and you had to fly there, get a mission, leave the tower, fly back.
Well, you're still gonna have to do that.
Well, now you can go to areas and you can just They have NPCs not just in the farm. There's NPCs
No,
outside
true.
the
I
farm.
mean, yeah, I mean that is true that there are going to be NPCs in other areas now, but essentially,
But they're not. But they're in the playable area. So you can get a mission from someone and then just go and play.
like
Like you
like
don't
like
have to
like
fly
Z-
to another location.
like Zavala,
Yeah.
and you can just get it anywhere.
Well, not anywhere. Well, they changed because of the events that happened in Destiny 2. They changed what Zavala and what Cade and what the rest of the main.
Oh,
the
so
main
where
people
where
give
they're
you.
at.
Yeah, there's different quest givers now.
So let me ask you this then: if you're far enough in the storyline and they're supposed to be off in this other zone, if you go back to the farm, are they in the farm as well?
No, they don't move. They're static. I'm
So
saying
if
that they don't
if
give you
they're
quests like they used to.
right,
They dynamically changed the quests. So they don't give you quests anymore. Like Cade doesn't give you quests. Like the last level up I hit unlocked patrol missions. And I unlocked them by talking to Cade. What I can then do is I can go to Cade and I can buy a map thing. I haven't used it yet. It's supposed to show you where treasure chests are on the map, and there's different maps for different maps. So that's all he gives you. He doesn't give you any additional quests.
Right. Can you clarify one thing, please? You just said there are different maps for different maps. What does that mean?
Well, I was using map as in a term for
I
an
think he
area,
means I think he
and
means
then a
areas or
physical
planets.
map, and like a physical map, like Dora the Explorer pulls out of her backpack.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that. But yeah, they don't give you quests anymore. It's dynamically changed and different than Destiny 1.
Well, I'll have to see what you mean.
Like if
Hopefully
you go,
tomorrow.
like
Once
if
I
you go
get
to
my process.
Saturn, like if you go to Saturn or whatever IO, there's one NPC so far that I've unlocked. One NPC at that location. You go to talk to that person, and that's where you can spend your credits for that area.
Okay. Well, have you done any dungeons?
Dungeons, yeah, as in. Sorry, I had to cough for a bit.
Um,
Cold. Like strikes, I just
My
unlocked
understanding
strikes.
is they're not going to have dungeons in the same way that we're used to.
strikes is what I meant.
I just unlocked them. I haven't done one yet.
Okay.
You don't unlock them until I think level 18, or maybe it's I don't know if it's level driven or if it's story progression driven.
That's interesting that it's so far along because in the last game it was what, like 6?
Yeah, they gave it to you really early. They spent a lot of time developing the world and the way they created their zones. They're way more in depth, and there's a lot to explore, and that's kind of why they don't give you the sparrow right away. I don't recall.
The Sparrow, for those of you who don't know, is essentially the speeder from Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Pretty much.
Does
It's
it
just a way
look
to
like the one from the Return of the Jedi?
yeah.
Pretty much. It's one of those speeders, and yeah, you get one, Jose.
Dude.
The
But-
Earth map that you've been on is relatively small.
And you can race as they don't have it in Destiny 2 yet, but in Destiny 1 there were maps where you literally it was just like a pod race, but you raced on those.
Didn't we played one mission together, me and Ryan, and we got on something that was kind of similar to that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes and no. It's kind of carries the same shape and steers the same way, but the sparrow that we get as guardians, we have boost and different abilities and stuff that you can use during the racing. The ones we used, we stole from the Fallen, which is one of the enemy type we were fighting.
Oh yeah, those kind of suck.
Yeah, the pikes.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're good at like blowing up something that's close and then just get rid of it.
So I want to highlight something. I don't know if you know this, Brandon, but you get to drive a tank through like one of the missions towards the end of the game. Did you know that? Have you played Halo?
Yes and no. I mean, Halo 1.
It's exactly. It gives you that old Halo feeling. Like it hit my nostalgia chord like perfectly. I was like, oh man, this feels like a Bungie game now.
So I was right. It is a feeling of crossing World of Warcraft with Halo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slightly disagree with, but I know where you're coming from with World of Warcraft because you haven't played many other games outside of maybe the Old Republic that have a similar setup with NPCs around. But a lot more current games are actually doing that with like public areas that are not necessarily full blown MMOs. Because I mean, Destiny is kind of like a pseudo MMO.
Right. It's like a hybrid, if you will.
Yeah. So there are a lot more games that are doing the hybrid model of MMO that Destiny is doing.
And I think that's smart because you got someone like me who, really isn't totally crazy about the whole MMO uh, play, and now they've sucked me into it. I've gotten into this. I'm excited about coming home from work to play this. When it was released, I came home from work for lunch just to sign in so I can
Yeah.
fuck with you guys and say I
And
logged in before you did.
and you beat me to it because you were doing it while I was actually just screwing around on my computer, and then I decided to play and found out I couldn't. But
Right. So of the three of us, I logged in first. Haha.
yeah.
But
I got higher level.
yeah, fuck you. Um,
Oh,
but Brandon,
Oh, so Jose, if you'll share my my other screen real quick,
your other screen.
the one in Hangouts, my other the other Brandon, if you'll select that one
Oh,
for a moment.
give me a second.
So Ryan, check this out.
This is a little confusing. All right, there we go. What the fuck is that?
That Ryan should get.
I can't see it.
Just select the one that shows
Oh, I
the
gotcha.
picture that's not the video.
That's nuts.
Ha 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 ha.
So
Mida
the
multi-tool.
Mida multi-tool is an exotic weapon in the game, and unless they make a change at some point, it is the best weapon that you can use. And so this person basically is they're just making a meme of it, just putting the Mida multi-tool in every slot. Because there was actually an article that not too long ago, I think it was just actually under a month ago, that me and Ryan and our friend Mark saw, and I thought it was hilarious because they're like the top or the best weapons in Destiny in order, and they literally the entire list was just the Mida multi tool.
So, let me ask you this question.
You can
Actually,
unselect it now.
yeah, the question I was gonna say doesn't make sense. But before we started broadcasting, you and I had started a discussion, and I cut you off so that we could have it on air. What was it that had you looking forward to this game so much?
Well, because part of it is just because of how the game plays. I generally don't, or I haven't in a long time at least, liked shooters. Uh, I don't really like the realistic ones like Call of Duty or some of the Call of Duties that that's World War I or World War II or even the current military stuff. I don't really like normal guns and gear and places. I like the sci-fi or fantasy aspect of things. So that was the first thing. Uh, Second, I didn't just want to do PvP. While Destiny has PvP, and a lot of people would argue that that is the true end game, I'm still fine with it because I can hop on with friends and still do a strike and still do a raid and do co-op stuff. And the last game that I really did co-op was Borderlands, and Borderlands just seems okay-ish now. The controls don't feel quite right. Aiming kind of sucks. People cheat all over the place, and the bosses weren't anything special. They didn't have any actual mechanics other than maybe they shot fire and just killed you harder. So it became boring and stagnant. Whereas at least with this, all of the strikes feel different. While you might see one or two repeating mechanics, it still gives me that like MMO raid kind of feeling where I actually have to do stuff. Like now I have to go over here to this part of the dungeon, and maybe I have to duck behind this thing, or I have to carry the what was it? There were like orbs, Ryan, in one of the strikes from Destiny 1, where we had to carry orbs past this barrier because that fucking robot that was rotating the shields that would push you.
Oh yeah.
Like stuff like that. That's cool. And aiming in this game feels great. It doesn't feel clunky. Like they were very, very good at what they did when they developed the controls for it.
Bungie knows what they're doing, and they showed
They
that when they did Halo 1 and 2 and 3, and we won't talk about the rest of them since Bungie didn't work on them. But that level of experience carried over, and I think that they didn't have a sight. They didn't have in their sights what they wanted to do, what direction they were going to go when they released Destiny 1, and they flat out said that, hey, we didn't know what the darkness was, but the entire first game, Jose, you're fighting this darkness, and
don't forget, there's no time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
all right. Oh, should I spoil something for you?
Do it.
Oh no,
right.
no.
Do it.
Cade jokes about that. Cade makes a direct joke about that.
Oh, that's fine.
When you're rescuing Cade,
I thought you were gonna say something like she shows up and then dies or some bullshit. I was gonna be like, no, I wanted to see that.
No, and I should have been streaming it, but I didn't because I didn't know what was going to happen. It was just one of those moments where you're like, shit, I wish I had this on video. But you're trying to rescue Cade because he's trapped in the middle of like two teleporters.
Oh, and I don't know it. I'm actually I would hope that you recognize the voice of Cade, Jose.
Oh, it's Nathan Fillion.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah,
I was hoping you would hear that.
As soon as he opened his mouth, I knew who it was.
And which his voice acting is phenomenal for the role.
Well, he's actually built himself a pretty good resume of voice acting. He's done Green Lantern. He's done the Wonder Woman movie, the animated Wonder Woman movie, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah,
if you haven't seen the animated Wonder Woman movie,
I saw it. I did think it was pretty good, and I do remember him in it.
you know, so the fact that he was good he's good at voice acting doesn't surprise me at all. But it was a nice surprise, and I'm sure other people knew about it because they were following the game before it came out. But I was completely unaware. So when I heard his voice, I was like, that's the captain.
So the Ghost voice actor, I actually don't know who the current one is.
Nolan North.
But I actually kind of miss Peter Dinklage.
Somebody told me that they had unofficially named the ghost Dinklebot.
Maybe when Peter Dinklage was still around during the first part of Destiny 1, but they changed it later on in Destiny 1, and they actually redubbed over all of Peter Dinklage's voices.
Really? So if I were to go back and play that right now, I would not hear Peter Dinklage?
No.
Yeah. Unless you get a copy of the actual disc, the original Destiny 1 disc.
And don't patch it.
Yeah, and don't patch it. Don't do Taken King stuff. Then you would hear Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, because he's quickly becoming one of my favorites.
And I mean, a lot of people disagree. People thought that the role for him felt very flat, but I kind of liked it for the Ghost. I actually kind of was feeling it.
Okay.
All right, so Brandon. So
let me ask you this, or more to the point, Ryan. Same question I asked Brandon. Why were you so looking forward to this?
Well, I didn't carry along all the baggage that a lot of Destiny 1 players had who bought the game at launch and then was disappointed by it. I got into Destiny 1 at Taken King, and that's when they were starting to do the turnaround to make it a really interesting game. That's where they started adding more dialogue and adding more depth. So I was happy. I was pleased. I bought the next DLC after Taken King and played that too and really liked that. So, but the one thing that I didn't really like was, and this is because I went back to console after playing PC for so many years, was playing on console. I wanted to play it on PC. And I told everyone that we played D&D with, I'm like, man, this game would be great for PC. And
Yeah,
everyone was like, that's never going to PC. And then Destiny 2
like,
came out, and Aaron was
well,
like, it's not going to PC.
oh, Aaron, yeah,
And
like,
then
and then it did.
a week later,
But
it's going to PC.
so I mean, with that though, like we were talking about how going back to console because so with Destiny the way they patch things, so like you'll get a patch and it'll be like you'll have a raid and then you'll have to wait a few months before another raid patch comes along.
You mean Strike?
So no raid.
Yeah, it has raids, Jose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so it'll be a few months before another raid comes out. And between that time, we usually do have a lull where we don't really play often, if at all. I mean, Mark still did a little bit, but once we all kind of took a break for a couple months and then we all tried going back, even for a day, we were awful with the control. And we were like, all right, now I'm just kind of done.
So when it was released that the information was released that was going to PC, I was all about that. And then they released the beta, and we all played the beta. And I don't know how many other players out there are playing it on PC and are playing it at 4K, but it looks amazing. It looks amazing, and it's in 60 frames per second.
The 60 frames is definitely one of the big things for me. It's super smooth and in like I said, I have a 7-year-old processor, still got 60 frames. But it plays beautifully, and I was so much better with a mouse and keyboard.
Not only that, you can change the settings too. Like you can change your field of view. You can you can adjust your lighting. You can not just your lighting, but like your gammas and shit. You don't have all those settings whenever you're playing on console. It's just start, that's it. And you got to play it stock.
Now, let me ask you this question. One of the things I found myself a little surprised about was how easy it was to set up the character, because I find it somewhat daunting in some of these games where they give you so many features. And I know, Ryan, that you seem to have a little bit of a fetish about that, with like making your character perfect and checking all the options and all this other stuff. Were you disappointed with the amount of options that you're given when setting up your character?
Yeah, I even said, like, whenever I did the first stream of character creation, I was extremely disappointed. They used the same models of hair. They didn't even take the time to make an additional hair models.
There's a couple new hair models.
Oh, maybe 5. Maybe 5. I didn't count them. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go pull it up on my PC and my PS4 and compare them. But I was
Ryan is right. I wasn't really disappointed. Well, I mean, a little bit. I guess I wanted a little more options, but I didn't want something like Black Desert Online has. I would have spent way too long in character creation. Ryan would have spent 10 times what I would.
Yeah, I would have spent 5 hours in character creation. That might be little bit of exaggeration, but
I really enjoyed the fact that I got in there. I was like, pick, play. And that's enough for me. So I think, again, this is kind of one of those where they're guiding the games to that middle ground to get a wider fan base.
Well, they could have added additional features like height adjustment or body types. Because like if I'm playing a hunter and I'm playing like a DPS class, I want to be thinner and I want to be short. I don't want to be dwarf short, but I don't want to be the same height as a
tank.
A titan.
Actually, that's something I noticed too, because when they were talking about the Titan as being the tank type character, which is what I usually play in games like this, usually tanks are these really big, bulky, almost overblown type characters. And in this game, they're pretty much the same as all the other characters. So I guess that's something I noticed as well, and I could have done with a little more variation on that.
Yeah, I mean,
they tried to fix that with the armor classes. The Titan, you'll have much bigger armor as you get into like the higher sets, like from the raid sets. They're usually more bulky and stuff, and it artificially inflates the size of your character, not to the size of that Mida multi-tool character, but
All right. Well, any closing thoughts on this? Anything you're looking forward to? Anything they need to fix?
Yes. I am looking forward to playing.
No game for you.
I'm looking forward to my friends getting on the same level so we can do strikes.
Well, not all of us have the luxury of getting sick in order to, take their time and build all their characters.
Hey,
Well, that's not why I took the day off. I took the day off.
I was sick yesterday and I couldn't fucking play.
I took the day off to do chores today, like an adult. It just happened to be that I'm on my sickest day, and it sucks because like I did my stream earlier today when I unlocked, which is something you're going to experience soon, Jose. Unlocking your subclass.
I'm already a sentinel.
You
I'm already a sentinel.
Yeah. You start out as that.
You have two more.
There's two more options.
Okay.
And that's another big change from Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 is now you can't just get a quest and go become a new subclass. You have to randomly get it in a drop, a relic, and then you have to charge said relic by killing enemies. So you have to charge with the blood of your fallen foes, and then perform a quest. I went through some exposition from one of the characters, and it didn't even name the character, but I have a feeling who the character is. I have a feeling it's Toland, if you know any of the Lord Brandon, the exiled.
Yeah, I know who Toland is.
The exiled guardian. So I think that might be different depending on which class you're trying to do. I'm interested in seeing what your character class or your subclasses look like whenever you run through it, Jose. So make sure you stream that.
Actually, speaking of streaming, the first 4 hours and 44 minutes I played in this game actually streamed. So if you want to see somebody playing this game fucking horribly,
yes,
check that out.
Fucking horribly.
I died a few times too, Jose.
I tried. I was like, oh, you got to go do this. Oh, you got to go do that.
Well, because you were chatting it to me, and I couldn't I was so into the game I couldn't pay attention to the chat. But which I think is a testament to the game. Ryan has also been streaming his exploits, and I imagine his would be more entertaining to someone that wants to see someone actually doing well.
I've done it a few times, but I think mostly that was because of my own ineptitude about maps and stuff.
Right.
Like
and
they made some weird maps that you have to do jumping stuff for that as a wizard or whatever. Warlock. It made it really difficult.
Yeah, wizards are enemies.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Brandon, you'll be streaming some of this stuff once you can.
Oh, absolutely. Once I get my processor tomorrow, if I get everything put in fast enough and I don't have to reinstall Windows, I'll be streaming before bowling. And if not, I'll be streaming after bowling.
Oh, that's right. You're off tomorrow. This is your weekend.
Yeah.
Good for you. I got another couple days for that.
Yeah,
but
so it all depends on Amazon. Well, I guess not really Amazon. Now it's the postal service.
Right.
God damn USPS.
All right. Well, I think that's a pretty fair introduction. I'm sure we will be talking about this game again because I think we're all going to play it quite a bit.
Oh, Jose, could you put our usernames in the doodly-doo below so that way if anyone wants to play with us?
Well, Brian, dang it, Brandon.
Doodly-doo below in case anyone wants to play with us.
So Brandon and I actually had our characters in the image. You could see our character names. So the only one that really need to put in the description is going to be yours, and that's Todd Pyro.
All right, sounds good.
And I'll go ahead and add that, and I'll probably add that as an annotation as well. So that's pretty much what we got for this week.
We have one more thing.
Yeah, there's another thing I wanted to So actually, there's two other things I wanted to bring up because we do have a viewer question. And this week, the viewer question comes from Steve from Facebook. And Steve asks, which do you guys think will be better, Justice League or Thor? And I definitely have some feelings about that because as anyone who knows anything about me knows, I am a giant Joss Whedon fangirl. Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I love Joss Whedon. I love everything he does. I think the man, I'm not going to say he can do no wrong because there's some stuff that's come out recently that I'm not going to go into right now. But I really, really, really enjoy his work. So the fact that he took over Justice League was very exciting for me. And I'm really looking forward to see how he puts his spin on things and how the Whedon touch is going to affect Justice League. And that being said, I think Thor's going to be the better movie.
I agree. I think Thor will be better. Even just going by the trailers, Thor seems like it's going to be a more fun movie to go watch. Justice League, I have my concerns, but that's because it's a DC movie. Even though Joss Whedon's taken over, I still have my concerns. So I'm looking forward to seeing Justice League, especially because Joss Whedon took over. But yeah, I think Thor is going to actually take it for this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I think we talked about this a little bit before. Taika Waititi, the director, has a really, really good history of making fun, lighthearted action movies. And I'm looking forward to seeing that stamp on a Marvel property. And not that the other ones haven't been fun, but I think just based on what I've heard that, and again, all the reviews are good. I've heard very, very little negative about this movie.
And I think that Thor needed that too, because the last movie, I mean, while it wasn't a bad movie, it just felt kind of dry and lackluster.
Yeah, Ryan. So, what's your thoughts on this?
Thor gets it.
Are there more thoughts behind that?
Well, I like that Joss Whedon is working on the new Justice League, but and I wish we could add comic book font. Can Joss Whedon save Justice League from bad writers? Because I think that's the takeaway, is because they haven't, other than Wonder Woman, their writing and storylines haven't been pulling me into the DC universe.
So let me tell you this real quick. One of Joss Whedon's strengths, one of his major strengths, is his writing and his dialogue.
Well, they already had the script done before they pulled him into it.
But I don't know if you're aware of this. There were some major reshoots after Zack Snyder departed.
Reshoots, yes, but did he
rewrite? Major reshoot, yes. Like
yes?
they brand new scenes that were not in the film before.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm holding out hope for it because I want to see DC succeed. I mean, I was really impressed with Wonder Woman. So
I was impressed with Man of Steel. I just wasn't impressed with Batman vs Superman.
Batman vs Superman suffers from
Martha.
Yeah, it suffers from. I think Warner Brothers basically said, let's take all of the best stories and cram them into one movie. And they didn't really give time to flush out any of them. But what they did do, I don't think it was necessarily bad. It wasn't good. I mean, but it was still entertaining. It was fun to watch. And I've watched it several times since and still enjoyed it. I particularly like the extended cut that explains more of what's going on in the movie, which I think has been kind of getting it's kind of like Blade Runner, the final cut.
But Blade Runner was good before the final cut.
This is true. But I think there's a lot of potential here, and I'm hoping Joss Whedon surprises us. But I still think right now, based on what I've seen and what I've heard and the way my expectations are set, I think Thor is going to be the better movie.
Yeah, same here.
Yep, hands down.
Okay, so it's universal here. So on that note, I'm gonna
Uno
do
mas.
something here. We have. How about you let me talk, Brandon?
All right, all right, all right. Go ahead.
So we are doing our very first giveaway. So if you will subscribe to the channel, like our videos, and share one of our videos, you will be entered to win 2 tickets to see Thor Ragnarok at a theater in your area. So all you got to do is be a new subscriber, like the video, and share it with the hashtag Nerd Talk, and we will automatically go ahead and enter you for that. We'll announce the winner on next week's show, and we will be ordering those tickets online for you. So if you have any people that don't necessarily have their tickets or don't know if they're going to be able to see it, here's an option. We'll be picking the winner at random. So it's just basically anyone that does it between now and next Wednesday, basically, is going to be entered into it, and we'll do it randomly. We'll pick it, and then we'll get those tickets out to you. So spread the word. Any last thoughts, you guys?
Yes. Ryan, did you see last week's episode of Dragon Ball Super?
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think? I kind of liked how Vegeta was still doing the master pupil thing with Kaba.
Oh yeah. I really like that. I think Frieza was a dick though, but I mean that fits into his character.
It does, and here I was just before that. I was like, oh, maybe Frieza's turning into a nice guy. He gave Goku energy and shit. No.
He's just like, I fucking hate Saiyans.
Yeah,
and then
just throws him off.
And then he's like, and now I'm going for the other ones. So now he's gonna go after Khalifa and fucking Kale.
I think he'll get Kale. I think Khalifa is going to be too busy with Goku and Frieza's not going to interrupt.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to interrupt their fight. I want to see Khalifa go Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, because Goku did say he was going to show her Super Saiyan 3, so that should be interesting. I think Kale's going to go whatever legendary Berserk mode on Frieza.
Is there anything above Berserk mode? That's what I want to see. I want to see her go Berserk mode now that she has it, and she can control it. I want to see like Frieza or some other character push her into doing another evolution.
I don't know if that'll happen, but I think Frieza will fight her and get not pushed back necessarily, but be surprised at her strength.
What's his name? Kaba? His name's Kaba, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel a super strong attachment to him. But in the tournament, he's gone up 2 levels. He's gone Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2. And Caulifla has gone 1 and 2, and possibly 3. So I'm interested in seeing if they add new canon on top of the legendary Super Saiyan form, the Brawly form.
Well, we'll have to see. Like I said,
if she goes Brawly too, that will be amazing.
With like sparks and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe I could potentially see that.
Just imagine someone who's stronger than Brawly.
Well, technically she kind of already is if she was pushing back Goku and Super Saiyan Blue.
That is true, but I don't think he was really fighting her. I mean, he wasn't blue.
No, he wasn't, because he also didn't really seem worried.
So
but either way, I enjoyed it. I think we have another few episodes to go before we see Goku go against Jiren again. I think it's going to be
3 weeks probably.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's going to be showing off a few of the other characters. Maybe finish up Gohan and Piccolo's fight, and then back to Goku and Jiren.
Jose, have you started watching Super yet?
My favorite thing about this show is the fact that I don't watch it. I'm just not a Dragon Ball Z fan. I've never enjoyed a single episode.
I don't blame you. It's one of those things that you have to. It's acquired taste, I think.
Or it has to be like one of your intro animes that you got into or something. Because no matter how stupid it gets, I still fucking love it.
Even whenever they were making fun of those I forget the
Their
name
own
of the
names.
team.
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or the Ginyu Force, or fucking.
What was that team that
everything.
made fun of the Ginyu Force?
the
And they
fact-
just kept shouting out their name over and over again, and the people in the audience and within the show are like, "That's a stupid fucking name."
Yeah, well, yeah. But also the fact that Vegeta, vegetable, Kaba, cabbage, kale,
Cauliflower,
uh,
cauliflower.
cauliflower. They're all vegetable names.
Beers is beer. Weiss is
So
whiskey, right?
I don't think that those two relate to drinks. I could be wrong though. I would have to look
No,
it up.
all the gods of destruction are drink related, I believe.
Oh, are they? Okay,
Yeah.
well that's interesting then. But
But
yeah, no, but it's that kind of stupid stuff that they just it's funny and good. I like the action.
yeah, this last episode was really good. I don't think it was as good as the Jiren fight. I mean, that's what you really want to see.
Yeah, but I think it was still
It wasn't filler.
it was good. Yeah, it was not just filler.
And I think Super has been doing a pretty good job at not putting in a shit ton of filler.
Oh no,
now.
absolutely.
They did at the beginning because they were rehashing Resurrection of Frieza and
Well,
rehashing
and Battle of the Gods.
Battle of the Gods. But outside of that, I don't think there's that much filler. It's not as bad as like One Piece. I mean, that's a plus.
Well, One Piece is still an ongoing manga.
Yeah. But you know what I mean. Like, as Super is progressing, it's not a bunch of filler, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Now,
But,
if next week's episode's if Sunday's a filler, I'm gonna fucking shoot myself just because I said that. I better knock on wood.
I don't think so. I think it's gonna be Goku and Caulifla. But either way, I enjoyed it. I think we basically just have to wait a couple more weeks now. Watch the next few episodes.
All right, so that's your Dragon Ball wrap up there, and I owe Brandon and Ryan an apology because I was totally going to skip over that because I forgot about it.
That's why I was like, uno mas, uno mas. Like, no, it's 2 more things.
Yeah, so that's it. Everything we talked about though is subjective. We all like what we like. So if you agree with us, let us know. If you disagree with us, let us know in the comments. Don't be a troll. If there are trolls, don't beat them. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe. Don't forget to enter to win that ticket to Thor Ragnarok, or that pair of tickets rather to Thor Ragnarok. And I think we are all done here. You guys got anything else?
Nope, all good.
Not
All
for me.
right. Well, thanks for watching, and don't forget to talk nerdy to us. See ya.
Got it, guys.
Peace.